Joaquin Mayers, case number BA 508142-01. We, the jury of the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of
Man, y'all seen that Rocky like Superman across the courtroom to celebrate with his wifey, Rihanna. And yeah, y'all heard it, wifey. I don't know if you guys are wife, right? I don't know if you peeped during the trial. They kept trying to discredit Rocky's family and just disrespect his family. There was a whole sidebar about, we don't want her referenced as girlfriend or wife. That's his girlfriend. And during the closing arguments, it was pretty crazy that the prosecutors actually went on with this joke of a case that they had. Like, they should be ashamed of themselves, for real. It's an absolute joke that the legal system, this whole case, straight clown show. We thought the YSL case was bad. I mean, it was a RICO case too, but this case was an absolute joke. He turned down this sweet plea deal, said, man, fuck out of here, I'm going to trial. But during the closing arguments, as Rihanna was in there with their kids, supporting her man, they already tried to say, oh, don't call her wife. Whole sidebar about it. Your Honor, they're not married. She can only be called girlfriend. That the prosecutor in the closing arguments is going to say, don't be fooled by this man's family and his kids and how much they giggle, like trying to ish on him, like this isn't a loving family, this is a hardened criminal and all that. Like, I don't know, that was just absolutely preposterous to me and wow, disrespectful. So to see Rocky celebrate with Rihanna and their family can move on from this, and it's a beautiful thing, like I can't believe the court stooped so low to do that. But it's not surprising when you see what a joke this case absolutely was. And Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele has gotten so much attention and recognition, and we've saw since the YSL case is over that Brian Steele FaceTime Young Thug when he was talking to class of law students. He had Thug on the FaceTime, and don't get me wrong, Brian Steele fought hard for his client and is a hell of an attorney, but at the end of the day, it's still wild to me that he had Thug cop a plea and take that deal, as we saw the other two YSL cats take it all the way through trial and be found not guilty. But I don't know, apparently you heard him, he just wanted Thugger to come home and he wanted to get it over with. But I don't know, it was kind of crazy to me. He went that far. There's so much fluffery with the case. You're almost guaranteed an appeal. And at the end of the day, I think Thugger would have been found innocent just like those other cats. But we got to give some props to the man that really put ASAP Rocky on blast for being a lying sack-ish, being a jealous buster. That's really what this all comes down to. You know what I'm saying? In the hip-hop world, this dude is now looked at as a failed rapper, a backstabber, a rat, a clown, a goofy. You know what I mean? And Rocky's attorney, Joe Tacopina, on top of exposing Relly and hitting him with that strategic line of questioning in the way in which he did, also didn't hold back from letting the court know how fugazi and suspect their whole case was. And he did it in like a gangster type way, giving zero flux, but also carried himself like an attorney, like Styles P, a gangster and a gentleman. That's how Tacopina got down. And then to take it a step further, I can't believe we know ASAP Rocky coming up out of Harlem, which Harlem is known to be trendsetters in hip hop fashion and, swag and lingo and stuff like that. Some individuals say, what say you? Hit the comments and let me know. But Rocky has been a fashion icon for quite some time, since he really first touched down in the game. And it's crazy to me, Gucci, who has already done some real suspect-ish with those, racist turtleneck sweaters and all that. On top of that, it seems like they were almost kind of praying for Rocky's downfall.
How are you feeling right now? You've presented your case, done your closing, you've heard what prosecutors had. You rejected a plea deal. How are you feeling?
I feel great. I mean, look, this case went in perfectly for us. I mean, I believed in Rocky's innocence from day one. Rocky's maintained it by virtue of the fact that he's turned down a plea that would have been, they offered him like 6 months. And he's facing obviously a lot more than that. I think shows you his resolve and his belief in his innocence and belief in the jury system. So, this case, it should be a 5-minute acquittal. But again, I've tried 120 jury trials, both as a prosecutor and defense attorney, and I will tell you, you could never, despite what old pundits may think and people in the courtroom, you just never know what a jury's thinking. But I feel as good as can be, especially because of the way the summations ended.
Let's talk about that summation. There was something in particular you said that did not sit well with the prosecutor, and we saw the big argument over this. You're referring to ASAP Relly as having perjured himself, and that the prosecution accepted that. Joe, I've never seen an attorney take off his coat in court because it seemed like he was about to get into a fight.
No, I took off my coat, Charles, because it was very hot in court. I didn't know this was going to happen. I was just listening to, this repeated, I'll call it whining, if you will, by the prosecutor, which seemed to happen every day. So I took my coat off because it was getting hot, not because I was getting ready to have fisticuffs. That wouldn't have been a fair fight. Look, I was just saying, they objected to the fact that we said they embraced perjury. It's different than saying you suborn perjury. Suborning perjury is when you put a witness forth that you know is committing perjury. You're suborning perjury. I didn't say they suborned perjury. I said they embraced it, and there's no way around that because their witness testified that the tape recorders I've had of him committing extortion were fake. So I had to call another witness in to then say, yes, those are real recordings. That's this Relly guy, and this is me, and I made the recording, and so they're not fake. So the prosecution then, took those recordings and played them and accepted that they were Relly. So I said they had to embrace, but that was perjury on behalf of ASAP Relly. There's no question about that. And he admitted perjury 5 or 6 or 7 other times on the witness stand. Oh my God, you would think I said something so horrific, but that's a fact. That's just a fact. It's not anything. And this one prosecutor in particular has a sort of a history and a reputation, and he had another hissy fit, to put it mildly. And just look, when I'm representing someone, Charles and Harvey, you guys know me for a long time, I take it very personally. I do. I treat them like family, and I don't let anything get by me. And if I think someone's playing below the belt or playing unfair, I'll do what I need to do to protect that person, that client, who at the moment I'm treating as family.
Let's talk about something that, at least from what we were told by people in the courtroom, that did resonate with the jury, and that was Rihanna being in court several days during the trial, sitting there right behind Rocky, and certainly during closing was there with the kids as well. And we heard the prosecutors in their closing really implore the jury to ignore the fact that Rihanna was there. Basically it sounded like the prosecutor was saying, don't fall for this family picture that they're trying to paint here. Just deal with the facts of the case.
But it was a family picture, right? Well, it's a family. It's not a family picture that they're trying to paint. It's a family. She's been there almost every day. She obviously loves him. They are a great couple. I've got, obviously I've known Rock for a long time. I've known Reef for a long time. And seeing them together in a time like this, in a time of need, is something very special. To see them really, she's really there supporting him, like in full force. And, it's their family. So why would that be odd or unique? And to me, when he commented on that in his closing, it was just another sign of weakness to me. It was a sign that this is what they're worried about, like instead of the evidence, they're focused on, is Rihanna going to sway the jury? I never mentioned Rihanna in this trial. Rihanna was not part of our defense. We have factual defenses, and they seem to be obsessed with Rihanna and her being there. So I don't think this jury's going to be swayed by Rihanna.
It definitely helps, though, Joe, right? I mean, you can admit it. It doesn't hurt.
No, I don't think it hurts because.
Okay, hold on. You said who knows? I know. The answer is yes.
Okay.
I know.
I don't. Look, these are people. We don't know what jurors think. We have people from all different walks of life on that jury. So who knows what it means? If anything, I think at the end of the day, jurors are going to look at the facts of the case.
The cases you've handled, and you've handled so many, some of them, you win some and you lose some within the same case, and it could still be viewed as a victory. With Rocky, everything's on the table, it seems. Either it's going to be all or nothing. Either he gets convicted and it's going to be super serious, or this guy gets exonerated. How long do you think it's going to take?
That is a question that basically asked me to read tea leaves, Harvey, and it's impossible to do it. Who knows what a jury's thinking? Who knows how long they're going to be? Hopefully not long. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get a verdict. Because again, without this one individual who imploded on the witness stand, I've never seen a witness implode like that in my career. Think about what that's saying. I've had some doozies, and so for that one witness to implode the way he did and have absolutely zero credibility when all said and done, and it's not just me saying that. The judge was there and he witnessed this too. For that to happen, there's nothing left in the case that a jury can say, okay, I'm convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. So it should be quick. But again, you never know. You just never know. And it could be one juror holding things up or two. So it should be a quick verdict, but who knows? And who knows which way it's going to go? You just can't take anything for granted with a jury. He's the face of Gucci. So I had a call with Gucci yesterday, and they're like, well, when will the verdict be? I'm like, what? When will the verdict be, guys? Let me go ask the 12 jurors. I'll let you know.
That's really interesting.
Gucci is.
That's really interesting.
He's got a cologne coming out called Gucci Guilty. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? I swear to God, it's called Gucci Guilty. And I'm like,
What? No way.
Hold the campaign on this one for another week. And we got to get it out for Valentine's Day. I'm like, I don't care.
I am stunned.
Are you
Seriously?
I swear to God.
They were going to have a Gucci Guilty campaign?
I've been going crazy with Gucci for last year, saying hold that stupid campaign or change the name to Gucci Not Guilty.
I got to ask you one more thing before we go. There was a moment during, and I don't know how it played with the jury, and we talked about it like it didn't even seem relevant, but there was a moment where ASAP Rocky yelled out to ASAP 12E while he was on the stand.
Don't answer.
He yelled out, don't answer.
Don't tell him. Don't tell.
They were asking ASAP 12E about a logo that was on Rocky's bed, AWGE. And I've just heard the person who's on trial yelling to a witness, don't say. How did that play out?
I almost broke Rocky's foot when that happened, just so you know. My heel kicked him so hard that he yelped. That was the second time he said, don't tell him, and then he heard a yelp. The yelp was from my heel. And what it was he just reacted to something that was so personal to him. Look, he sat there and listened to this rally call him all sorts of horrific names, okay? I mean, some really derogatory names. He heard witnesses say this, that, and that about him. He didn't say a word. He was so dignified throughout this whole trial, such a gentleman. The judge even commented on that. But when he got to something personal for him, which the witness didn't even know the answer to, by the way. The witness had answered before Rocky even had his little moment and said, I don't know, it just means hog. But Rocky that's something very personal to him and his family, and he didn't want that blurred out on publicly, for whatever reason. So that just happened. It was involuntary, trust me. And of course, the prosecutor made a big deal of that on summation too. I mean, Jesus. So, convict him because he blurted out he didn't want some personal information put out on the national television, and that Rihanna was in the court. That's why you should convict him. We focused on the facts of the case, but that was a big deal for the prosecution. But it was, it was just a moment. Of course, we wish it didn't happen. It was embarrassing, and I fronted with the jury. But still, it was a non-issue in the case. It was not. Look, if someone had said, "Did Rocky tell you it wasn't a prop gun?" and he yelled out, "Don't answer," that would have been a different problem.
So y'all see what I'm talking about? Like he took off his jacket like he was about to get busy, and told the court, you guys are rocking with a perjurer, who's perjured himself on the stand multiple times. And he broke down the difference between supporting and embracing. That takes some real cojones to come in court and get active like that. If you ask me, like, he did an outstanding job. And hey, you seen him getting his shots into, speaking about the prosecutor being a known whiner and all that. And you heard him, he's been in the game a long time on both sides of the legal system, from being a prosecutor and all that, district attorney or whatever, and being a defense attorney. And I don't know, I think he definitely needs to get his credit for this. Like I said, Brian Steele has got so much love in the hip hop world, and I'm not trying to ish on him, but Tacopina, exposed the court, exposed ASAP Relly, and really just once again exposed, like we saw a lot in the YSL case, how weak the case was and all the suspect sucker-ish that they were doing. Like, he's telling them, yo, you guys, this guy's perjuring himself. You got these extortion tapes, and y'all were down to let that slide, to try to push this goofy case through. You know what I mean? Like I said, when the judge said multiple times early on, I don't know if it's ethical to continue on with this case, but they did continue on. It's like, it's just not a good look, and it's just a joke, and it's sad that this is the way the legal system is here in 2025. But he was ultimately right. A 5-minute acquittal. You know what I mean? This closing statements just wrapped up. Deliberation started today. The verdict was in quick. And I was like, man, is that a good sign or a bad sign? And statistically, there's really no data on there about it, and you heard Tacopina, he was saying you can never really know exactly how it's going to go with a jury, but he just killed this case in such a way, exposing all the goofy-ish, the fraudulency, the rat, jealous lane that ASAP Relly is. He knew what it was. Not guilty on all charges. Again, that celebration was just something else. Like, for real, man, if they ever make ASAP Rocky or ASAP Mob series or movie or anything like that, when that part hits, they need to have "Celebrate Good Times" drop, and I don't know, or sample that or something. And he Superman's across the damn courtroom to hug Rihanna, man. Like, that was really a one-of-a-kind reaction to the verdict, celebrating. And again, they had to pull him back, like, they're not fully done yet, But again, they tried to take shots at their love, their family, their relationship and all that. And, they can move on from this and keep it pushing. That's a beautiful thing, man. But what we were talking about with Gucci, how crazy is that they wanted to run a campaign of Gucci guilty, and his defense attorney Tacopina is like, please don't do it. You're playing with a man's life here, Like, obviously he's been, I think, the face of Gucci, or had a Gucci deal for quite some time. And they want to see this man locked up. They want to play off this trial like what, they could get more money as him behind bars than free. That's just crazy. Like, why couldn't they run a like he said, a not guilty campaign, or Gucci innocent or innocence or something like that? Or I don't know, 2 fragrances. What will happen? Will ASAP Rocky beat the case or not? They're like, nah, Gucci guilty. I just cannot believe that, man. That is something else. I don't know. I just happen to find that wildly disrespectful and insensitive and all that. Like, Rocky is a human being. This case was a crazy case. A lot of suspect-ish going on. And, they're playing games, like running that campaign. That is, and you see it. You see the pictures. You see what it is, man. Like, Gucci just stays trying to violate when it comes to the hip hop world, man. So that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk in them comments. Sub up. ASAP Rocky, not guilty. Gucci, playing dirty. And ASAP Relly, the ultimate lame. And how about that too? What he was saying about when he had to kick Rocky in the foot when he was talking to 12E, you know, that was just something very personal. It's like a straight up joke that was a criminal trial. And thank goodness, you know, things went the way that it did. You know what I mean? Because that was just, they should be ashamed of themselves. The court, the prosecutors, all that. The judge more or less told him that himself. And that's going to close the books on this situation. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.